If I was your best friend, I'd want you around me all the time. Can I be your best friend if you promise that you'll be mine?
So, in hindsight 2020, and I say this all the time, like, you saved me even when I wasn't looking to be saved. So, from myself in that regard,
Don't save her. She don't wanna be saved.
When you talk about pride and humility, but to go back to it, so yeah, so how did you come to the final decision?
What it really was different things aligning, right? Like as I began to become this soulmate, like that God was building me by me obtaining attributes of his character, I began to be able to identify those similar attributes. And what those attributes in me did was propel the ones who the attributes wasn't alike, like who couldn't relate to those attributes or who didn't connect with those, and it began to attract the ones that could. And what I found was the more I became this man, the more I became walking in these boundaries.
Your development served as a repellent.
For sure, for a lot of people, but the more aligned you and I became. So for me, it wasn't even like, yo, well, what was the final straw? What was the final decision? It was these different things that just kept happening. And it was like, yo, we were able to serve effectively throughout all of these different times. Like I can list all these different things. We were able to make money throughout these different times. We were able to come up with all this perspective and healing within our relationships with our family members. However, I was doing these same things with other friends as well. So if I just tried to create a list of these different things alone, right? These lists are important, but create a list of these things alone, more people would match up to that criteria.
Right.
What it really was the more I became, the more we became. And with that, over time, it just kept bringing like this triangle until God really revealed to me. And it wasn't even like he said, like, to my recollection, like, oh, she's your wife. It was literally just like, propose to Jazz.
And that's all he said.
That's all that my recollection of the impression can remember. And what made me already all right with it was because I already knew the person you was. I already appreciated and valued the person that you was on all aspects. So it wasn't like this far-fetched thing where it was like, oh, propose to her. And I'm like, wait, what? Why? What about this? No, I knew exactly why the impression was that, and it was because of because what God designed. But other than that, it was because of what you were becoming, what you became, because of your submission to God. And that's why, and we're going to go into it more, but that's why when I did propose to you, there was a painting that I got for her. And it said, the best thing I love about you is the Jesus in you. And it was literally within her becoming and my becoming that we became one. It really wasn't me like plotting. It wasn't me planning. It wasn't me like sneaking and geeking. Like it wasn't, it was really, I was fully aware of the different characteristics of the different people around me. It wasn't a shock.
It was a shock to me and everybody else, but
right. Well, specifically to you, for sure.
No, for sure. Yeah.
It was a shock, but for me, it wasn't at all. I was already walking in alignment, and there were many other things prior to that, that God was telling me to do, that I was getting this impression from God to do, and then great things came out of it. So when I got that impression, it wasn't different than the other impressions that he gave me.
Because you were already walking in obedience.
Facts.